Before we work on factoring trinomials, I want to quickly do a practice run with our multiplication. We multiplied earlier on the semester already, and remember we used the word FOIL to help us remember how to do this. We take our first terms and our outside terms and our inside terms and our last terms. Okay. After that, if we find any terms that are like terms, we can combine them together. Now in this video, we're going to factor trinomials, and all of the trinomials we're going to factor are going to have this 1 in front of the x squared in this video. Okay, we'll move to other numbers later on. This is always the most straightforward trinomial to factor when we're going backwards, because when I'm building x squared, okay, I built that from my first terms. And the only way to make 1x squared is to multiply x times x. Notice that the 6 here came from our last terms. The 3 times 2 gave us the 6. And then the 5x here in the middle is a combination of our outside terms and our inside terms. So when we're going backwards, when we're trying to factor a trinomial of this form, I'm just going to draw underneath it this time. Again, only when there's a 1 in front of our x squared is this a given, but we know that has to be x and x. That's the only way to build 1x squared. Now notice that the 6 came from multiplying the 3 times the 2, and the 5x came from adding the 2x and the 3x together. Okay, so what we're going to always look for are the 2 factors of positive 6, and those same factors have to add to be this middle number, which is positive 5. So if we have x squared plus 6x plus 8, again, with a 1 in front of the x squared, we know this has to be an x and an x. Then my goal is to find the 2 numbers that multiply together to get positive 8, and those same 2 numbers have to add together to be positive 6. Okay, positive 4 and positive 2 are those 2 numbers, and so once we found them, they go in next to our x, and we're done. Now you can always check these. You can FOIL at your desk. Pause the video and do that if you'd like. If you FOIL and combine your like terms, you will be back to here. Now understand that you have to be careful with the signs when you're doing this. The signs are very important. Okay, because in this example here, now we're multiplying our 2 numbers together to get negative 8. And we're adding them together to be positive 2. We're still looking at 4 and 2 here, but now the signs are different. If I take positive 4 times negative 2, I get negative 8. Positive 4 plus negative 2 gives me positive 2. So positive 4 and negative 2 go in next to my x, and I'm done. Okay. All right. I'm going to pause the video here and write down a bunch of examples, and then you can write them down and pause the video again, and then I'm going to come back in and give the solutions. All right, so again, here in just a moment, go ahead and pause the video, write these down, factor each of them. Again, all of them will start with x and x here. Okay, it's these 2 numbers that you have to come up with. Those 2 numbers will be factors of this one that add together to be the middle one. Okay, when you turn it back on, all of the solutions will be here, so don't turn the video back on until you're ready to see all of them. Okay, here they all are. Now, notice how important the signs are. We had earlier up at the top, x squared plus 5x plus 6. Which came from x plus 3 and x plus 2. A little draggy pen today. Okay. Notice that regardless of the signs that we use, here's a plus 5 minus 6, minus 5 plus 6, minus 5 minus 6, plus 5 plus 6. All four of those polynomials factor. Okay, now if you look and compare, notice that they all factor in different ways. Okay, some students are like, well, I had negative 3 and negative 2 there. Well, negative 3 and negative 2 goes with this one, x squared minus 5x plus 6. Okay. If I need the product to be a negative 6, so I need to add to be 5, then I'm looking at 6 and negative 1. If I need to multiply to be positive 6 and add to be 5, then I'm looking at 3 and 2. Okay. If the 5x in the middle is negative instead of positive, then that switches the signs around. Okay, but still 3 and 2 on some and 6 and 1 on some. Same thing here with the 10 in the middle and the 24 at the end. Here I'm multiplying to be negative 24. Here I'm multiplying to be positive 24. Okay, both times I'm adding to be negative 10. So when that product is negative 24, I'm looking at negative 12 and 2. If I want positive 24 for my product, then I'm looking at negative 6 and negative 4. Okay. The signs are extremely important when you're factoring. Please be careful with them. And let me know if you need more help with this.